Panels are probably the last thing on anyone's mind when it comes to designing stuff for their Twitch channel. Everybody focuses on their banners, their logos, their stream overlays, and panels don't get a lot of love. They get pushed to the bottom of the priority list. But they shouldn't. Panels are a core and key important part of your brand. They establish who you are as a content creator, and they set a precedence and set your brand to any viewer that comes to your stream whenever you're offline. And not a lot of streamers give them a second thought. In fact, a lot of streamers go for the free option when it comes to their panel design, which is fine, by the way. Nothing wrong in anything free, but I think if more people knew how to design their own, we'd see a lot more variety and see streamers really taking advantage of that space under their stream. So in response to that, I thought I'd do a video and go into showing you guys how I made my own panels for my Twitch channel, as well as give you guys some tips and tricks and show you how you can make your own using Affinity Designer. Welcome back to the channel, guys. My name is Sam. If you guys are new to the channel and you don't know yet, I do stream on Twitch. I'm live every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. The link to my channel is in the description down below. Feel free to come by, drop me a follow, and ask any questions you might have about this video, or any design tips and tricks and things like that you kind of want to have an idea on and get more of an understanding on. Feel free to ask in there, and I'll do my best to answer them. Also, if you guys like this video and find it entertaining, engaging, and informative, then be sure to give it a like and subscribe to the channel. Cool, now that's out the way, let's jump into the video, and let's start off by just clarifying a couple of different things regarding software before you guys jump in and start making your own panels. There are two different types of graphic design software out there. There is raster-based graphic design software, and then there's vector-based graphic design software. Software like Photoshop, GIMP, Affinity Photo, and Pixelmator are all raster-based graphic design applications. Those applications are best suited for photo editing, doing digital art, and working on thumbnails for YouTube videos. And then you have vector-based graphic design software like Affinity Designer and Adobe Illustrator that make super crisp and sharp vector-based graphic designs that are super scalable depending on the kind of content you're doing. They're mainly used in web design, mobile app design, things where your content needs to scale and retain pixel density and sharpness depending on where it's being viewed. Knowing the different types of graphic design software out there and their pros and cons are going to help you guys have a bit more of an understanding of what each one does before you jump in and start doing stuff inside of one, thinking you can do it and realizing you can't, and you've done it and you've wasted hours already at this point. So with all that said and done, we're going to be using Affinity Designer to design a brand new panel that I can throw onto my Twitch page to help promote our brand new merch store. For those of you that don't know, we recently got a brand new merch store set up. Thanks to the guys over at Stream Elements for hooking that up for us. They set up the store and sent us a link, and they also sent over a brand new panel that we are currently using on the Twitch channel right now, but it doesn't match the current branding that we have for the page. So we're going to be jumping into Affinity Designer and redesigning that panel to make it match the aesthetic that we currently have going all over the channel. As you can see, this is the panel that Stream Elements sent over, and although I really like this kind of panel design, it doesn't match the current aesthetic that we're going for across the channel, which looks like this. So we're going to redesign the panel, make it match this particular branding and this particular style with the rounded rectangle with the kind of warped bottom, and have it say merch with a t-shirt icon with the logo. I think that's going to match the branding a lot more. So let's jump in and start making it, and I'll show you guys how I did a couple of things along the way. But before we start designing anything on this panel, a little word of warning when it comes to you guys designing any panels for your page. Twitch has some sizing guidelines in place that means that it will resize any panel down to 320 pixels wide. So no matter what you do, no matter how wide the panel is, if it's 1920 by 1080, the panel will always be resized to 320 pixels wide. So if your panels are going to be very detailed and contain a lot of information, just make sure that all of that information is readable in a 320 pixel wide panel. It doesn't matter what height it is, the height can be whatever you want, but make sure it is 320 pixels wide and it's readable, and the text is large enough that everyone's going to be able to read it, and it's not going to be too small and look really cramped on that small panel space. Cool, now you know that, we're going to jump in and start designing. So we're going to make a brand new artboard that's 320 pixels wide, and what we're going to do is we're going to start off by designing the shape of the actual rectangle here. We're going to go over to the rectangle shape tool on the toolbar right here. You'll press M on the keyboard a couple of times and it will cycle through to the rounded rectangle. We're going to jump in, we're actually going to use the original panel as a guide, and I'm going to just quickly click and drag over the top like so, and get the sizing just right on the panel. So the next thing we're going to do is actually round off the corners to make them match how they look on the current panel. And the best way of doing that is going over to this little red or orange circle here, and you're clicking and dragging that out. And what that will do is it will pull all of these corners out to the same rounded edge, the same kind of radius between all the 4 corners. And the reason why it's doing that is because this is a live object. You can adjust this and tweak the roundness of the shape as much as you want. Cool, now that is actually done, what we need to do is actually bake in the corners and the adjustments we've made and stop it from being a live object to being a curve object. And the way we do that is by selecting the object and going up to the top here, it says convert to curves. And what that will do is it will change it from being a live editable object to giving us complete independent control of each of the points on our object. So for me, the next step is actually making this bowed or kind of curved base at the bottom of the rectangle. And the easiest way of doing that is by clicking a point in the middle of the rectangle base here and then just pulling it down all the way to make it match where it's roughly in the middle, like so. And there we go. We have pretty much the main structure of the rectangle. All we need to do is just curve it and make it smooth rather than a sharp, jagged point. And the easiest way of doing that is going over to the toolbar and then clicking on the corner tool or pressing C on the keyboard, selecting that point and then just dragging it up like so will softly smooth out that pointed edge and make it a lot more rounded. As you can see here, it matches perfectly with the panel underneath it. So the next step now is actually colouring this to make it match the original panel design that I have. And the easiest way of doing that is going over to the original panel, going over to edit and copy, clicking on the new panel and then going to edit, paste style. And what that will do is it will copy all of the color properties, all of the stroke properties from that original object and then paste it onto the new object that you have selected. This gets us a little bit closer to actually making this panel match the original panel sets that we have. So the next step now is getting the texture that we have on the original panel onto the new panel. As you can see, this kind of diamond cut texture that's kind of overlapping the original panel right here. So all I'm going to do is I actually have the texture right here ready to put on top of the merge panel, as you can see. So the next step from here is actually making a mask that we can use on our texture to make it match the original kind of shape that we have on our project. And the easiest way of doing that is clicking on the object itself, going up to edit and then clicking duplicate. Now all we need to do is make this object cut out all that we need from the texture. All you need to do is select the new object, click and hold and move it up to the side of the thumbnail next to the name of the layer. And as you can see on the canvas, it's actually cut out what we don't need. If you let go, we've created what's called a image mask, and it's now only leaving what we want from the original object, which matches, as you can see, the original panel itself. So the next step is actually designing an icon that we can use on this panel that best represents the merch and the new merch that we have coming out. So what we're going to do, we're actually going to go over to the side here and actually start designing just a t-shirt icon and see how we get on with designing this. So I'm going to make a rectangle right now. So I'm going to start with this rectangle here, and what I want to do is actually convert it to curve straight away. And what I want to do is actually want to create a kind of bowed top, almost like a kind of like an arrowhead point at the top. I'm actually going to do that just by making exactly the same thing we did earlier by clicking in the middle, making a brand new point in the middle, and just moving up just a little bit like so, making sure it's roughly in the center. Then what I'm going to do is make a brand new circle shape. And what this is going to do is it's going to cut out the neck piece of the t-shirt. So I'm going to make the circle the size that I want, and what I want to do is I want to select this and the rectangle that we've just done, and I'm going to go to the top here and I'm going to click the subtract button. And what that will do is that will create the kind of circular neck piece where the head comes out of on a t-shirt done for us already. There we go. We don't need to do anything else really to this section. All we need to do now is add the arms to the corners, and the easiest way of doing that is actually going to another rectangle tool, dragging out a small rectangle, putting it next to the object that we want, and then just changing the rotation like so, and then just fitting it to make it match the size that we were after. When you've got one arm pretty much sorted the way you want it to do angle-wise, you can press Command J or Control J on your keyboard to duplicate the object, right-click and go to Transform, and then go to Flip Horizontally. And what that will do is that will flip it, basically to mirror the object and move it across. And then you have your t-shirt pretty much done. All we need to do now is add my logo, which I have as an asset over here. Drag that in, that's quite big, didn't realize how big that was. Scale it down, put it over the t-shirt, and what we need to do now is do exactly the same thing as we did before with the circle. Select the logo and the t-shirt and then go to the subtract tool, and then there we have the logo cut out of the t-shirt we can then select all of the rectangles that we have, go over to the merge or add tool over here, click on that, and there we go. Our t-shirt is now done. Now the last thing to do is we just add any text and get the formatting just right, and add a little bit extra that we're going to add to the button once we've done all the text. So we speed to the text, and I'll show you what we're going to add to make this a little bit more eye-catchy, a bit more poppy. I'll show you what we've got in mind. Okay, text is done. One last little detail that we're going to add to make this pop and really stand out from the rest of our panels on our page, and we're going to have a small little new badge in the top left hand or right hand corner. And the easy way of doing this by going over to the shape tool, finding the double star tool. I'm going to click and drag and scale that out, and I'm actually going to use the smart properties right here, and I'm actually going to scale this out just a little bit. I want to make it look like one of those cheesy new badges, or, you know, sale badges that you usually see on like those really cheesy websites. I want to make it a little bit like that and have that kind of on the corner, a little bit like a notification on like a phone or something, to make it stand out from the crowd. So now that I've got that in place, what I'm actually going to do is actually give it a bit of a style that I want to actually add. So I'm actually going to make just a really flat kind of orange or kind of gold style of shading. I'm going to go to the gradient tool over here, and I'm actually going to make a gradient effect with this, and actually just start by pulling down from one of the corners and giving it maybe a bit of a deeper yellow or a brighter yellow on one corner, and then a bit of more of an orange. From there, I'm going to go down to the effects tab down here, this little effects button here. I'm going to click on that, and I'm going to give it a bit of a drop shadow. And from there, I'm actually going to go and add and give it an inner glow as well, and give that just a little bit on the edges and the corners to make it stand just a little bit more. And maybe an outline as well. Why not? Give it a bit of an outline, and then take the opacity down just a little bit, and give it a kind of, you know, slightly opaque glass look. That looks kind of nice. Maybe on the inside, that looks a lot better actually. I quite like that. It looks pretty nice. And then from there, all we need to do is add some text that says new, like so, because it's a new merch store and I can't use caps lock for some reason. There we go. Let's get this all centered up, and I think that is pretty much done, guys. That's our panel sorted right there. I actually really like that. So guys, yes, thank you so much for watching. This has been a design little thing inside of Affinity Designer. I hope you guys have seen and get a couple of tips from this video when it comes to actually making your own panels. Once again, guys, just to let you all know that I do stream on Twitch. I'm live every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. The link to my page is in the description down below. If you guys want to come by, drop me a follow, ask any questions about this kind of stuff on my Twitch, then I'm happy to answer any questions about that. Also, guys, we have an amazing and awesome community on Discord that's growing day by day, with full of content creators, graphic designers, and creative people all around. They're hanging there day by day, and come on, be a part of the family. The link for that is in the description down below. And also, guys, if you want to check out the merch store as well, the link for that is in the description down below. If you guys want to check out the kind of things we have, it's in beta right now with the Stream Elements store just rolling out to a few select people. So we only have one design and a couple of products up on there at the moment, but more will be coming in the very near future. Once again, guys, thank you all so much for watching the video, and I'll see you all in the next one. Take care. Here it comes. There we go.
I'm trying to like get the right. I'm trying to think the right.
Boom! Look at his chat. There we go. Boom, 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 boom.